After a car accident that caused me to lose my memory, my boyfriend asked me to be with his brother. I woke up in the hospital after a car accident. A mischievous idea suddenly popped into my head. I decided to mess with my boyfriend. "Who are you?" I almost burst out laughing when I saw Liam freeze. But then, without missing a beat, Liam pointed at his best friend, Ace, and said, "I'm just a friend. He's your boyfriend, Ace." My smile instantly faded. Ace stepped forward and nodded. "Yeah, I'm your boyfriend." I forced a smile. "Then take me home." Ace brought me home. He said I had always lived there. I looked around at the unfamiliar place. There wasn't a single trace of me anywhere. But I played along. I took a nap in his bed and woke up later, feeling thirsty. As I walked to the kitchen for a glass of water, I heard voices coming from another room. "Ace, just do me this one favor, man. Play Willow's boyfriend for a while." "Aren't you worried she'll get her memory back? If she remembers and gets mad, I'll just sweet-talk her. She loves me too much to really leave. I'm just over her right now. I need a break to have some fun." "So you're hooking up with Brittany, huh? Just messing around with her?" "You got me. But I definitely love Willow more. Just don't get any ideas while she's around, okay? I know I can trust you. You've always hated her." I backed away, my bare feet making a slight noise on the floor. Ace must have heard me because he quickly hung up the phone. "The floor's cold, Willow. Why don't you put on some socks?" he said smoothly before scooping me up and setting me on the couch. "I'm thirsty," I muttered, looking around. "I'll get you some." Ace poured me a glass of water and handed it to me, then sat down beside me, watching me closely. "Does anything else hurt?" he asked. I shook my head after taking a sip. He reached out, brushing a strand of hair from my face. Then, unexpectedly, he pressed a kiss to my forehead. I froze. I had just overheard Liam telling him not to touch me. I had always thought Ace hated me. But now, when he leaned in and kissed my lips, I pulled away instantly. He let out a breath and traced his fingers along my cheek. "You don't remember, but we can take it slow," he murmured. "You'll get to know me again." Ace was definitely messing with his friend, too. Ace brought me to a party, and the place was already buzzing with energy. As soon as we walked in, the music didn't stop, but the vibe shifted. The rich kids who were laughing and drinking moments ago suddenly went quiet, their eyes flicking toward Liam. "Willow, you're here!" A girl's voice rang out. "Do you remember me? I'm your college roommate, Brittany." Brittany beamed as she practically draped herself over Liam, snuggling up to his side. Ace led me to a seat and I shook my head. "Sorry," I said. "That's okay. We can all get reacquainted." Brittany gave me a sickly sweet smile, but her grip on Liam's arm only tightened as she leaned into him. This former college roommate, now Liam's friend, was acting like she had won something, just because I was supposedly suffering from amnesia. Liam, on the other hand, was eating it up. He was loving the thrill of cozying up to another woman right in front of me. "Yeah," I said with a forced smile. "It's great that both of you are dating someone in the same friend group." "Who needs memories, right?" A few people chuckled knowingly. "We can all hang out all the time." "Whether you remember or not," Brittany added, her voice practically dripping with satisfaction. The other guests were murmuring among themselves, trading amused glances. They were enjoying this, watching someone get played like a reality show. The night went on, and everyone kept playing party games. Liam and Brittany sat close, sharing a single biscotti, biting from opposite ends, inching closer and closer to a kiss. "Kiss, kiss!" The crowd started chanting. Liam hesitated for only a second before leaning in, and Brittany met him halfway, pressing into him as if she had just won first prize. She shot me a smug look just as Liam wrapped his arm around her. Then it was my turn. I lost a game and had to choose someone to kiss for 30 seconds. The room fell silent. Everyone stared, waiting to see who I'd pick. Would I instinctively choose Liam? Liam tensed. His jaw tightened, and he avoided my gaze, probably worried I'd suddenly remember him. Ace stiffened too. I smiled. "I'll kiss my boyfriend, of course." I turned to Ace. "Ready?" I felt him relax slightly. He looked into my eyes, then leaned in. I wrapped my arms around his neck and kissed him. "Whoa!" Gasps and murmurs rippled through the crowd. They had probably seen Liam making out with other girls before, but they definitely didn't expect me to do this with another guy. This was something new, something unexpected. Ace didn't hold back. His lips pressed against mine with confidence, his hands firm but careful. By the time the 30 seconds were up, I pulled away, my breath slightly unsteady. That's when I noticed it. The room had fallen completely silent. I turned my head and met Liam's dark, stormy gaze. That's why everyone went quiet. Ace reached out, gently wiping the corner of my lips with his thumb. I blinked innocently. "What's up with everyone?" "I just took my turn, right?" Brittany smirked, latching onto Liam's arm like she was claiming him. Even though Willow has amnesia, she's still very comfortable with her boyfriend, she said, her tone dripping with mockery. Liam's jaw clenched. I excused myself to go to the restroom. But as I passed the stairwell, hushed voices made me pause. "Ace, I told you not to get any ideas." What was that back there? Liam's voice was cold, edged with irritation. Ace let out a dry chuckle. "Relax, dude. It was just a game. She has amnesia. You want her to go for you when you've got a girl sitting on your lap? I'm her boyfriend, remember? You assigned me the role." Silence. Then Ace added, "Anyway, don't worry. I'll keep it PG. I doubt you actually care about Willow enough to sleep with her. But some intimate contact? You should be able to avoid that. I wouldn't want to cause you any trouble, right?" Liam scoffed. You know me so well." Back at Ace's place, I was heading to the bedroom when he suddenly grabbed my wrist. Before I could react, he leaned in and kissed me. I tried to pull away, but he held me tight, his grip firm. Then just as suddenly he pulled back, his fingers grazing my cheek. "We took a step forward today, didn't we?" he murmured. "We can get to know each other better." I stared at him. He was going against what he told Liam. Again, I didn't understand him. Liam and I came from completely different backgrounds. He had worked hard to get me to accept him. Then I met his friends, rich, entitled guys, especially Ace. Ace had always hated me. He looked down on me. That was just how things were. He constantly made snide comments about me and Liam. I had always avoided him before. But after my amnesia, when Liam forced me to spend time with Ace, he kept doing things like this. Was he just messing with Liam? Getting back at him for setting us up? I worked from home most days. My design job was flexible. That evening, Ace knocked on my door. "Work hard?" he asked. "There are fireworks tonight. We could go." I hesitated, but I ended up going with him. When we got to the lake, where the fireworks were being set off, I spotted them instantly. Liam and Brittany. They were standing in the best spot. Brittany leaned against Liam and kissed his cheek. Liam chuckled, looking at her fondly before pinching her nose. Then he turned and saw us. For a second he froze, then he acted like nothing happened. Brittany saw us too. "You guys are here," she chirped. Then, without missing a beat, she walked up to me, shoving her phone into my hands. "Willow, could you take some pictures of me and Liam?" Liam's face dropped slightly. His gaze flickered toward me. Brittany beamed, pressing against Liam. "I'm so happy today," she gushed. "Liam put together this whole fireworks show just for me. I want to remember this forever." She gazed up at him with love in her eyes. Liam hesitated. Then after a moment, he softened and wrapped his arms around her. I stared at the phone in my hands. Liam was putting on a big fireworks show for Brittany, and I was the one holding the camera. I looked through the camera lens at the two of them. Liam holding Brittany, her face glowing with happiness and contentment. Behind them, fireworks exploded in the night sky, painting everything in vibrant colors. It was beautiful, romantic. I took their pictures. Liam had set off fireworks for me once, on my birthday. Back then, I had probably looked just as happy as Brittany did now. After a few shots, Brittany turned to me with a bright smile. "Let me take a picture of you guys," she offered cheerfully. Ace snatched the phone from my hands before I could react. "That's enough," he said flatly. "You're not here to take pictures of them." Then, without a glance back, he tossed the phone to Liam, who handed it back to Brittany. I swallowed hard but said nothing. After the fireworks, Brittany and I headed toward the restroom. It was too crowded, so I decided to wait outside. That's when I heard Liam and Ace talking nearby. "You and Brittany seem to have fun," Ace said casually. It's been a while since you and Willow had fun like that, huh? Liam sighed. Yeah. Brittany reminds me of how it was when I first met Willow. She's so sweet and thoughtful. It's great. Ace hummed. Maybe you should just leave things as they are. Brittany seems better for you. You're always complaining that Willow is stubborn, right? That it bothers you? Liam was silent for a moment. Then he spoke. We've been together so long, Ace. You can't just end that. Ace let out a short laugh. Brittany says she doesn't want anything long-term. She's just happy with the moment. Happy with you right now. Liam didn't respond, and I turned away, my chest tightening. Back at the villa, Ace suddenly kissed me. Then he pulled back, his eyes searching mine. Willow, you know you're the best version of you, he said softly. Don't compare yourself to anyone. I stared at him. It almost felt like he was answering Liam. How did Ace know me so well? He remembered things Liam had forgotten. My little habits, my favorite candy, the movies I liked. He went a little further than before. And I didn't say no. Ace picked me up and carried me to his bedroom. I had only ever been with Liam. I hadn't trusted him at first. Not when he was trying so hard to win me over. But he was so determined. The way he treated my grandma, the way he helped her. That was what won me over. Then his parents disapproved of me. They cut him off. I thought that would be the moment he'd realize we weren't right for each other. But he didn't give up. He worked, went to class, and fought for us. Eventually, his parents caved. I finally let myself believe in him. In us. When my grandma died, he held me, told me he was there for me, that he always would be. And now, that relationship was gone. So maybe it was time for me to move on too. That Friday, our group took a trip to a resort for the weekend. The moment Liam saw the room arrangements, his face twisted with frustration. He pulled Ace aside. You guys aren't seriously sharing a room, right? He said in a low, tense voice. Split the rooms. Ace shrugged. It's just a room. You know I hate her. What? You want me to sleep with her? I walked up before Liam could respond, and he had to swallow whatever argument he was about to make. The next morning, I was on the balcony when I overheard Liam dragging Ace away. His voice was sharp. Did you guys sleep together? Ace let out a low chuckle. Were you listening to us last night instead of paying attention to your girlfriend? No wonder you didn't get any sleep. Ace, are you kidding me? Liam snapped. His voice was angry, almost panicked. Ace's tone remained cool. I don't need you to pretend to be Willow's boyfriend anymore, Liam spat. My grip on the railing tightened. Because the way he said it sounded like regret. So what are you gonna do? Ace asked casually. Liam's jaw was tight. Tell the truth? Ace raised an eyebrow. You mean the truth about how you wanted to fool around with your girlfriend's friend? So you lied and made me Willow's boyfriend to cover it up? Ace let out a low chuckle. Are you going to? Liam choked on his own words, his face darkening. Ace smirked. By the way, what about your new girlfriend? You seem pretty into her. Liam exhaled sharply. I agreed to a temporary relationship with her. I was never going to leave Willow. She loves me. Ace's expression didn't change. And when she gets her memory back, I'll apologize. Tell her I only want her and she'll forgive me. Liam's voice was steady, confident. Ace tilted his head. And in the meantime, you're taking advantage of this break to sleep around? Liam stiffened. I didn't think you'd actually sleep with her, Ace. You hate her, right? Ace shrugged. Who said I hated her? Liam's fists clenched. I can't believe you'd pull something like this. You had dirty thoughts about Willow this whole time, and you used this to get her. Ace simply smiled. Dude, you set this up. You literally said, he's your boyfriend. Liam looked like he wanted to punch something. Ace's voice was calm. I already slept with Willow and you like Brittany, so why not just leave things as they are? Liam let out a cold laugh. I don't care that Willow slept with you. If anything, that might actually make it easier for her to forgive me. His eyes burned with determination. I'll end things with Brittany, I'll fix this, and then... Liam's lips curled into a smirk. We'll see who she picks. I stood on the balcony, idly playing with a flower between my fingers. From my vantage point, I saw Brittany hiding just around the corner, listening. And the moment Liam said those words, she turned and ran. That afternoon, the guys were out fishing when Brittany suddenly turned to me. "Willow, want to go grape picking? Looks like fun." I met her gaze, noticing the glint in her eyes. She had something planned. "Sure," I said, smiling. Inside the vineyard, Brittany handed me her phone. "I want to show you something." I took it and glanced at the screen. "There are a bunch of them. Take your time," she said, her tone sly. I swiped them from Liam's phone. I scrolled through the photos. Liam and me, cozy together, kissing, wrapped in his arms, in bed. I handed the phone back. "What's this supposed to mean?" Brittany smirked. "What's it mean?" she echoed mockingly. "Liam says Ace is your boyfriend, but these pictures say otherwise. What do you think it means?" I raised an eyebrow, waiting. She scoffed. "Willow, are you really this clueless? Can't you see what's going on? Liam's lying to you." I said nothing. "Liam has always been your boyfriend, not Ace," she continued, eyes flashing. "He just didn't want to be your boyfriend anymore after you lost your memory." "So what did he do?" "Lied. Said Ace was your boyfriend so he could go off and have fun." "And guess what? Ace is playing along with it." She folded her arms. "You're getting played, Willow, and everyone's laughing at you." Her voice softened slightly. "I'm telling you this because you're my friend, and I just couldn't watch this farce go on any longer." Brittany watched me, expecting some dramatic reaction. I just smiled. "So?" I asked. "Is my life that bad right now? Is Ace treating me worse than Liam did?" She blinked. You knew?" Her face twisted with realization. "You don't have amnesia, do you?" I plucked a grape from the vine and twirled it between my fingers. "Oops," I said playfully. "You caught me. As a friend, though, I'm trusting you won't tell anyone." Brittany's jaw dropped. You've been faking this whole time," she sputtered. "And you're still with Ace." She took a step back. "Willow, you are deeply scheming." She pointed at me, practically shaking. "I'm gonna tell Liam, and I'm gonna tell Ace, that you don't have amnesia. You've been lying to them this whole time." I popped the grape into my mouth, savoring its sweetness. "Go ahead," I said, smirking. I ate a grape and smiled. "Are you sure you want to do that?" I asked, tilting my head. "Are you sure you can stay with Liam if you spill the beans?" Brittany froze. I could see the hesitation flicker across her face as she thought about what Liam had said, that he was going to end things with her. Then she scoffed, forcing a smirk. "If I tell Liam you're faking and that you slept with Ace, you think he'll still want you?" She sneered. "Wouldn't he come running back to me?" I shrugged. "Too bad," I said. "I can't ruin my image." I leaned in slightly, lowering my voice. "I'll just act all hurt and say that Liam dumped me, so I ran to Ace." I smiled. "Who do you think he'll believe? The girl who faked it, or the girl who's heartbroken? Who will he feel more sorry for?" Her smirk faltered. She knew Liam had said he didn't care that I had slept with Ace. She had heard him. Now, she was starting to realize something else. Brittany stared at me like she had just met me for the first time. "Willow, I didn't know," she murmured. "I didn't know this was the real you." "You're not like you used to be." I arched an eyebrow. "And what was I like before?" She hesitated. I laughed. "Brittany," I said, my voice soft but sharp. "You worked so hard to be my friend, to get close to Liam. What did you want?" I tilted my head, watching her squirm. "Why are you so obsessed with my secret plan?" Brittany looked away, her lips pressing into a thin line. I really love Liam," she finally whispered. I sighed. "And I'm the one faking things?" Her eyes flashed as she turned back to me. "You knew what was going on," she accused. "And you still slept with Ace." She shook her head, almost in disbelief. "You're not what everyone thought you were," she said, her voice rising. "You're not strong, brave, kind, honest, and you don't even love Liam." I met her glare with an unreadable expression. "Who says I don't love Liam?" I asked. Brittany opened her mouth, but I kept going. "If he hadn't shoved me toward Ace," I said, voice steady, "I'd still be with Liam." I tilted my head. "Did I cheat on him?" I asked. I looked at Brittany, my voice steady. "Why are you so self-righteous?" I asked. If Liam had nothing, would you still be saying you loved him? Her face turned red. You, she stammered, her frustration boiling over. Willow, you're scary. I smirked. I'm scary? I repeated, tilting my head. The guy who pushes his girlfriend away isn't scary, but I am. The guy who cheats on his girlfriend with her friend isn't scary, but I am. Brittany swallowed hard. I sighed and shrugged. Brittany, be glad I'm only going to pick one of them, Ace or Liam, I said calmly. I'm not going to fight you for them. I gave her a knowing look. Liam's dirty now. If you want him, take him. I won't stop you. Her hands trembled. She inhaled sharply, then sneered. So you don't love Liam, and you don't love Ace, she accused. You just want a rich guy. Whether it's Liam or Ace, as long as he can give you a good life. I lost my patience. I said I loved Liam, I snapped. What did I get for it? I took a step closer, my voice turning icy. Why should I love that guy? And Ace lied to me, so why should I give him my whole heart? I exhaled, forcing myself to stay calm. Ace is just less dirty than Liam, I admitted. If he treats me well and gives me what I want, I'll treat him well in return. Brittany's eyes narrowed. Are you sure you can control Ace? She asked. Everyone says he's the most unpredictable and scary one. I plucked another grape, rolling it between my fingers. You use your skills, I said, popping the grape into my mouth. And I'll use mine. I gave her a slow smile. You and I both know what it's like to be poor, I said. It's up to you. A silent warning. I wouldn't do anything if Brittany left me alone, but if she wanted to be my enemy again. A shiver ran down my spine. I suddenly felt someone watching us from outside the vineyard. Brittany and I walked out of the vineyard, carrying our baskets of grapes. Ace appeared almost immediately, walking toward me. Without a word, he took my basket and carried it himself. You were gone so long, I came looking for you, he said, wrapping an arm around my waist as we headed back to the resort. I felt Brittany staring at us, her expression unreadable. She was probably wondering why Ace treated me so well. Then Liam appeared, but instead of going to Brittany, his eyes locked onto Ace, glowering. I tilted my head. What's his problem now? Liam stepped forward, his voice smooth but firm. Willow, there's a horse farm nearby, he said. You said you wanted to ride. I'll take you later. I turned to Ace, eyes wide. Did I say I wanted to ride? I asked, acting clueless. Ace smirked. Nope, take me later, I said, dismissing Liam without a second thought. Ace nodded. Okay, let's wash these grapes first. He guided me away. Liam just stood there. I could feel Brittany's jealous gaze burning into my back. At the table, I was peeling a grape when I felt eyes on me. I glanced up. Ace was staring. I raised an eyebrow. He looked away for a second, then back at me again. I smiled playfully and lifted the peeled grape to his lips. He took it, then caught my hand, licking the juice off my fingers. I froze. Ever since we slept together, he had gotten touchy, and I hadn't stopped him. Later, we changed into our riding gear. The rich guys were already on their horses, while Liam and Brittany were still at the stables. Brittany was chatting about which horse to pick, but Liam looked distracted. Suddenly, he turned to Brittany. Brittany, I need to talk to you. Brittany stiffened. She knew what he was about to say. But then she spotted us. Willow, you're here! She called loudly, forcing a smile. We walked over. Picked your horses yet? I asked. Ace was nearby, instructing the staff to pick a gentle and pretty horse for me. Everything seemed calm. Then, a scream. Liam, watch out! Brittany! A wild horse bolted toward Liam. Everyone else quickly moved out of the way. But Brittany rode straight into the path of danger. The moment her horse clashed against the wild one, she lost control. And fell, hard. Liam immediately rushed to her, carrying her away. At the resort's clinic, the farm staff whispered among themselves. Why did she block it? Everyone else moved away. Liam could have avoided it. Liam was steady on his horse, he wouldn't have fallen. But Brittany forced herself in the way. The impact made her fall. They exchanged uneasy looks. If she blames the farm, we're in trouble. Liam, however, didn't hear a word. Brittany was taken to a hospital in the city. The doctor's diagnosis? She'd be in a wheelchair for months. On the drive back to the villa, I stared out the window. deep in thought. Brittany was willing to hurt herself. All for Liam? I exhaled, amused. Let's see if it works, I murmured. Ace glanced at me. His hand tightened on the wheel. I don't want you to ever do that for me, he said seriously. I want you to be safe. His words were simple, but something about them struck deep. For a second, I felt warm, but I quickly pushed the feeling away. Because at the end of the day, feelings weren't what mattered. Not in this game. I looked at Ace. If you're in danger, I'll do anything, he said, his voice firm. I smiled softly and touched his face. We're fine. Nothing will happen. Ace grabbed my hand, kissed it, then laid it over his chest, holding it there. Liam was at the hospital with Brittany. She posted nonstop on social media. Photos of Liam bringing her flowers, staying by her side, taking care of her. She looked happy. And I was doing just fine. I had said I loved Liam once, but watching him push me toward Ace had changed something in me. I hadn't seen much of him lately. Then came the Interior Design Awards. It was a big moment for me. I had worked so hard and now I was being recognized. I told Liam about it. You have to come to the awards, I said. If I win, I want to share it with you. He hesitated. I have a friend's birthday that day, but he still came. When I won, I stood on stage, accepting my award, my heart racing as I delivered my speech. Then I stepped down, looking for the person I wanted to celebrate with. Liam took a step forward, but I ran right past him, straight into the arms of the man holding my favorite flowers, Ace. He caught me effortlessly, holding me close. Willow is the best, he said, his voice full of pride. Liam stood frozen, watching us, his fists clenched at his sides. Then came my grandmother's Memorial Day. Ace and I arrived at the cemetery and saw that Liam was already there. He looked at me. I cleaned up Grandma's grave, he said quietly. Oh, thanks, I replied. I glanced at Ace. Ace, thank your brother. Ace placed the flowers and offerings beside the grave. I already cleaned it yesterday, he murmured. So your brother didn't have to. Ace and I knelt and prayed together. I told Grandma that Ace treated me well. From the corner of my eye, I saw Liam standing off to the side, his hands curled into fists. His jaw tightened. But he said nothing. And for the first time, I felt like I was the one slipping from his grasp. I knew Ace had stopped Liam from telling me the truth. I could imagine his words. Do you think she'll accept you if you tell her the truth when she doesn't love you? Or will she hate you? Liam was scared of losing me completely, but it was already happening. He stopped me after work. Willow. I turned, seeing him standing there. His eyes, desperate, longing, like he missed me. I frowned. Liam, what is it? I ended things with Brittany. I took a step back. What does that have to do with me? Willow, I want you to know that Brittany was just a mistake. She was the one who got close to me. He hesitated. I'm sorry, I'm doing my best. I'll fix this and get back on track. I frowned deeper. You don't have to tell me this. Liam shook his head. I was going to wait for you to get your memory back, but I can't. I need you to know, Willow, that I am... Liam, you don't have to say all this. I cut him off. I crossed my arms. Ace is your brother, right? Liam's face twisted with anger. Ace isn't my brother anymore. His voice was raw, filled with frustration. He stole you from me! I exhaled sharply. What are you talking about? Please don't do this. Just then, headlights approached. Ace. I ran to the car as he pulled up. Liam clenched his fists, watching. Ace stepped out. Liam, what are you doing? Liam's jaw tightened. Ace, he growled. Ace's eyes narrowed. Do you think going crazy will get you what you want? Liam took a step forward. You can only see Willow because she doesn't know what kind of guy you are. If you keep going crazy, Ace warned, his voice dropping, Willow will stay away from you. And I'll protect her. Ace's voice was final. His eyes burned into Liam's. We can end our friendship and our circle. The threat hung in the air. The line was drawn, and Liam knew it. Liam froze. He knew what Ace meant. If he told me the truth, I'd react badly. Ace would get angry. I got in the car with Ace and drove away. I looked at him as he drove, studying his expression. He seemed to know exactly what I wanted him to do. How could he know? I was just a woman with amnesia. Or so they thought. Brittany asked to meet. She said she was done. That she'd leave town once her leg healed. I went to the lake. She was sitting in a wheelchair. I walked over. "Are you really leaving?" She smiled and gestured for me to sit. "What's the point of staying? I have nothing left. I really loved Liam." I shrugged and took a seat. "I hope you move on." She sighed. "You're lucky, you know? Liam and Ace both love you so much." I frowned. "You're not recording this, are you?" She hesitated. I smirked, reaching into her lap and pulling out a small recorder. "You're getting good at this." I turned it off and handed it back. She sighed, slumping in her wheelchair. "I thought you were always so kind," she muttered. "But now I see. You're always holding something back." I leaned forward. "Don't look at me like that. I just love myself first. It's not hard to understand, right?" She scoffed. "But you got everything and I got nothing." I leaned back. "Then stop crying over it. Don't get caught up in love. Use what you know about Liam to secure yourself for life." She let out a bitter laugh. "Don't you hate me? I seduced Liam. I used our friendship to get close to him." She shook her head. "He didn't care about me at first, but then he wanted to spice things up. He was mad at you, and I was just there. I told him I wasn't looking for anything serious, just happiness." She exhaled sharply. "He was finding you in me." I shook my head. Men eat and run, then blame the woman for seducing them. It's pathetic. I looked her in the eye. "I stopped thinking of you as a friend when I realized you weren't being honest with me. I don't deal with betrayal." I crossed my arms. "And since I don't consider you a friend anymore and you haven't actually hurt me, what you do doesn't concern me." Her lips curled into a bitter smile. "But Liam betrayed you." "Yes." She laughed softly. "I really admire you, Willow, but—" Her gaze shifted. I felt a chill crawl up my spine. "I still hate you," she whispered, "because you got everything I wanted." Then she lunged. A glint of silver flashed in her hand. A knife. "Ah!" I jumped up as Brittany lunged at me, the knife aimed at my chest. "Are you crazy? It's not worth it," I shouted, stepping back. The blade grazed my arm, but I realized it wasn't sharp, just a prop. "Willow! Willow!" Ace and Liam ran toward me. Ace pulled me behind him, his arms shielding me. Liam stormed forward and kicked Brittany. "Ah!" She crashed to the ground. Liam glared down at her, his chest rising and falling with fury. He raised his foot, about to step on her. "Liam, stop! It's a fake knife!" I shouted. Liam froze. Ace grabbed my arm, checking me over. "Are you hurt?" His voice was sharp, worried. Brittany, still on the ground, suddenly started laughing. "Willow, I learned something from you. I didn't waste my life," she cackled. "What the hell are you doing?" Liam snapped. Ace's expression darkened. Brittany turned to Liam, eyes gleaming with something wicked. Then she laughed harder. "You two are such fools." She pointed at me, her body shaking with laughter. "Willow tricked you." Liam's face drained of color. "What?" Brittany grinned, wild and triumphant. "You told me she loved you," she said, her voice mocking. "That she'd come back when she remembered. But guess what? She doesn't have amnesia." Liam took a step back. Brittany's smile widened. "She doesn't love you that much. She got a new rich guy." She turned to Ace, tilting her head. "And you," she sneered. "Why do you love your friend's woman? She slept with Liam for years." Liam stood there, trembling. Fear flickered in his eyes. Brittany's silence, my silence, told him everything. He was afraid of the truth. If I didn't love him, I would choose Ace. "Willow, let's go." Ace reached for me, his hand warm against mine. But I didn't move. I turned to Liam, my voice calm but firm. I never lost my memory. Liam's breath hitched. Ace lowered his gaze. Brittany let out a broken laugh, tears streaming down her face. "If you had waited just a second," I said softly, "I would have told you I was joking. But you didn't wait. You denied me. You pushed Ace toward me." Liam shook his head, eyes wide with regret. "Willow, I gave you chances, Liam, just admit it." I took a deep breath, my voice unwavering. "You let another man be my boyfriend. You let another man take care of me. You hugged Brittany in front of me. You kissed her. You lit fireworks for her, like you used to do for me. So I gave up." Liam's hands trembled. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I was just confused." Ace scoffed, standing protectively beside me. I'm sorry, Liam cried, reaching into his pocket. I've always loved you. I wanted to marry you. My heart clenched. Liam held out a ring. I was going to propose. I was waiting for you to remember, to forgive me. His voice cracked. I wanted to take care of you forever. His hands shook as he held up the ring. Willow, I love you. Forgive me. You loved me once. Willow, give me a chance. Ace's patience snapped. Liam! He grabbed the ring from Liam's hand and threw it into the darkness. You don't get it! Ace's voice was sharp. You lost her when you cheated on her. Liam's shoulders slumped. He lost me. Ace took me home. He checked me for injuries. Then he wrapped his arms around me, pressing a soft kiss to my forehead. Willow, I love you, all of you. I looked up at him. I don't want all of your love, I murmured. His eyes darkened with something unreadable. Just love me like you loved Liam, he said. His grip on my hand tightened. I'll be loyal. Ace pulled out a small velvet box, a ring. He slipped it onto my finger without hesitation. You heard me and Brittany at the vineyard, didn't you? I asked. Ace nodded. I smiled. I let him put the ring on me. Draw me one day, I said. He hugged me tighter. Okay. When Ace took me home, he showed me something. He didn't hate me. He wanted me. He was jealous. But how much did he love me? I didn't know. Then I saw them, my sketches, scattered across his office. Only they weren't mine. Ace had drawn them. He had memorized every detail of me. He had put love into every stroke. He loved me. He had the chance to have me. And he was clean. He had only been with me, so I decided I would love him. Ace brushed his fingers over my cheek, his voice gentle. I've loved you, Willow, he whispered, ever since you hugged me and said, good morning.
The night air was thick with tension. Liam stood there trembling, his fists clenched at his sides. I knew that look. Fear. Not fear of losing me as a friend, but fear of losing her. Willow. My Willow. I reached for her hand, my voice steady. Willow, let's go. She didn't move. Instead, she turned to Liam, her expression unreadable. I never lost my memory. The words hit Liam like a punch to the gut. His face fell, eyes flickering between us, searching for a lie, a loophole, anything to hold on to. I exhaled, looking away. I'd known all along. Of course I had. Brittany laughed, her voice shaky and bitter. If you had waited just a second, Willow continued, I would have told you I was joking. But you didn't wait. You denied me. You pushed Ace toward me. Liam's breathing grew uneven. Willow? She wasn't finished. I gave you chances, she said, voice firm. Just admit it. You let another man be my boyfriend. You let another man take care of me. You hugged Brittany in front of me. You kissed her. You lit fireworks for her like you used to do for me. So I gave up. I swallowed hard. I had seen the moment she gave up on him. The moment she started looking at me instead. Liam's voice cracked. I'm sorry, I was just confused. I had enough. I stepped forward. Liam looked at me like he hated me, like I had stolen something that was rightfully his.
But he had thrown her away long before I ever touched her.
I'm sorry, Liam suddenly cried. I've always loved you, Willow. I wanted to marry you. I stiffened. He pulled out a ring. I was going to propose, he admitted. I was waiting for you to remember, to forgive me. I wanted to take care of you forever. I felt sick. I knew what was coming before he even said it. Willow, I love you. Forgive me. You loved me once. Willow, give me a chance. No. I grabbed the ring from his hand and threw it into the night. Liam, I snapped. He flinched. You don't get it, I said coldly. You lost her when you cheated on her. Silence. And just like that, it was over. Liam had lost. And Willow, she was mine now. The drive home was quiet. I kept glancing at her, making sure she was okay. The moonlight cast soft shadows over her face. I wanted to hold her, to remind her that she was safe now. When we got home, I checked her over. She let me. She trusted me. Finally, I pulled her close, pressing a kiss to her forehead. Willow, I love you, I murmured. All of you. She looked at me for a long time. Then she said, I don't want all of your love. I froze. Before I could speak, she continued. Just love me like you loved Liam. The tension in my chest loosened. I tightened my grip on her hand. I'll be loyal. I took out the ring I had been carrying for weeks. I slid it onto her finger. She didn't stop me. You heard me and Brittany at the vineyard, didn't you? She asked. I nodded. She smiled. I showed her my sketches that night. Pages and pages of her. Every expression, every detail. I had drawn her over and over, memorizing her face, her hands, the way she looked when she was lost in thought. I had loved her long before I ever touched her. Long before Liam lost her. And now she was mine. She traced the lines of my sketches with her fingers, eyes soft. Then she turned to me, studying me. You really love me, she whispered. I nodded. She leaned in, pressing her forehead to mine. I felt her breath against my lips when she spoke. I'll love you, Ace. I closed my eyes, holding her close. I had won.